If they can see Red Bull doing all of these billions of views, why is it still so hard for them to be like, no, we're just going to go for TikTok?
I always tell people to follow the 4 Ps: passion, proficiency, perspective, and profit. You cannot control how many subscribers you get. You cannot control how many views your videos get. Why YouTube is so powerful in 3 words: trust at scale.
I appreciate it. Well, we've already started the podcast. This is exciting. We've been talking for like 20 minutes beforehand. I wish you would have actually captured it all, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Not at all.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Who are you then to the people who don't know?
Yeah, so I've been doing YouTube for the last 10 years.
Wow.
I started my channel back in, I think, 2016. So yeah, as of 2026, 10 years now.
Wow.
I teach magic on YouTube.
Okay.
So I started with no followers, no subscribers, definitely made no money.
Yeah.
And then over the last 10 years, I've just been posting content there. I've grown that channel now to 1.5 million subscribers. It does around $80,000 to $120,000 a month in terms of revenue, about
Nice.
80-90% profit margins with no sales calls, no paid ads, anything along those lines. And then basically I've built a whole business on YouTube. And I now spend a lot of my time teaching other creators, founders, entrepreneurs how to do the same thing and build personal brands and leverage YouTube as a way to get more views, more leads and sales.
Nice. You've perfected that. Going back to the start then, you said there was a time when you literally made no money, but you're uploading videos. I mean, that's like going to work every day and not getting a salary at the end of the month. Like, how does your mindset cope with that? Like, are you doing it because of the money at the time, or are you doing it because you love it? Because most people, I think, nowadays want to start YouTube because they want money. They see like, oh, I can get money for views, and that's just what they want straight away. But it's not often like that, is it?
100% no. I would say when it comes to doing YouTube, choosing your niche is like one of the most important things. And I always tell people to follow the 4 Ps, which is passion, proficiency, perspective, and profit.
Okay.
And if you can find something that ticks off all 4 boxes, so you've got to be passionate about the thing you want to do, because that's what's going to allow you to do it for 10 years in my case. You've got to be proficient at the thing you do, so you've got to be good at it, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to make a YouTube channel teaching the guitar, but you're not good at the guitar, there's no point doing it.
So you're good at magic, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm good at, I'm not the best in the world though. There's
Yeah.
plenty of magicians who are better than me, but I'm good enough to provide value to other people, right? Who are not as good as me, as it were.
Sure.
So that's the other thing with proficiency. You don't need to be the best in the world to teach something on YouTube. You just need to be good enough to provide value to someone else. So that's the second P. Perspective is the third one, which is you want to have a unique angle on whatever you're teaching. So if you want to create a video about, a channel about losing weight in the gym, for example, have something different. Maybe it's your own story. Maybe it's people you've helped in the past. You've got to have a unique perspective on it, because that separates you from everyone else on YouTube. And then the 4th P is profits. You just want to know if this niche can actually make money, right? So if you're like a gaming YouTube channel, it's a lot harder to make money on that versus, the gym example I just gave you. So for me personally, I didn't start off obviously with that framework, but I'm really passionate about magic. I'm proficient at magic. There is money to be made in the magic niche, and I've got a different perspective in how I teach it. So when it came to doing this YouTube channel for 10 years, it wasn't a job. It was just something I really enjoyed creating videos. And then the money and the views and everything else was just a byproduct of just following something that I was passionate about.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. I love the way that you explain that. And just one point on that is the USP. I think when people start anything in life, whether it's a career or a business or a YouTube channel, they have to come up with what they think is an original idea, right? And it's like, this has to be this big idea, and I can't start it until I've got this thing which is different and it's a unique selling point. Like, if you don't have a unique selling point, or you think maybe it's slightly similar to someone else's, like, do you still start, or do you just go for it and just create loads and loads of videos even though you haven't got that? Like, can you have only 3 of the Ps or 2 of the Ps?
I think you've got to have all 4. There's a really good book called The Unfair Advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And it basically talks about this. So on YouTube, your unique perspective, your unfair advantage, everybody has one. Everybody, doesn't matter where you are. It could be not that you've made $1 million, but it could be you've had failures, you've had setbacks, you've had problems in your life that other people relate to. So it's not just, oh, my unique advantage is I've made all this money and I've got this and I've got this. Maybe your unique advantage is you're 16 and you're trying to teach something from a different perspective, and other 16-year-olds will relate to you more than the 45-year-old trying to teach the same thing. So the reason I share that is because you want to kind of, when you do YouTube, if you copy other people, you just become a diluted version of someone that you admire.
Sure.
So if you just try and copy Alex Hormozy because he's doing super well, you try and copy Mangazzi, whatever, you're never going to be different. And if you're not different, you're just basically fueling their brand, not your own. So you always have to have a unique perspective when it comes to doing YouTube in some way, shape or form. But that doesn't mean like you've been super successful and now you can make a YouTube channel. It can be anything from your personal story to your setbacks to your achievements, and yeah, anything along those lines is kind of like where the unique perspective comes into play.
Daniel Priestley talks about your mountain of value, and it's kind of sort of phrased in the same way. And a lot of people don't realize that every action they've taken in their lives, and every job they've had, every person they've built, is they're building that mountain of value. And I guess it's the same sort of thing. And what we all do is we're always looking at other people and comparing ourselves to other YouTubers or other entrepreneurs, and we go, I want to look at them, I want to look at them. But what they don't have, what you have, which is your mountain of value, is what you've built up. And the founder's story is always going to be the biggest unique selling point, because I can't compare my story to your story, right? They're completely unique, and I don't think a lot of people realize that, do they?
I completely agree. I think a personal brand is personal for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you try and copy other people, you're never going to out Alex Hormozy. You're never going to out Iman Ghatzi, right?
Yeah.
Ali Abdal, whatever.
The greats of our YouTube world.
Exactly. So I think it is really important to look at what other people are doing as inspiration. To be like, oh, what they're doing is this framework, this system. I might take parts of what they're doing, how they present themselves, how they talk on camera. That's all fine. You can definitely take inspiration. But at the end of the day, if someone's genuinely serious about starting a YouTube channel and becoming a name on YouTube, becoming someone people like and admire and respect, then you have to be original and share your own unique perspective. There's literally no other way.
Yeah. John, I always pronounce his second name wrong, and I did this before. Is it John Ushuai?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Something like that. He calls it copy and taste. So instead of copy and
I
paste,
like that.
copy and taste. I'm not claiming that one.
I might steal that.
Yeah, well, that would be copy and paste. Yeah. Copy and taste. So yeah, literally just whether it's a thumbnail or a title or and there's nothing I don't think in our world nowadays there's nothing which is ever going to be completely original. I think it's so difficult now. I mean, you look at like Ed Sheeran, who was in court recently because he copied someone's music in like the 1920s or whatever, and it's like it's never going to be completely original. But if you can try your hardest to add your personal spin on it, that's how you're going to make it as original as you can possibly get to, right?
I couldn't agree more. So I'll give you a very simple YouTube example. Mr. Beast, he's obviously gone viral in many videos, but his most successful series on YouTube is like $1 like meal versus $1,000 meal, or $1 million meal, or $1 experience versus $1 million experience. Yeah. That concept of cheap thing versus expensive thing was done by BuzzFeed 15 years ago.
Wow.
It was one of their most successful things when BuzzFeed was a lot bigger. And the Mr. Beast team was like, oh, this clearly works. It clearly goes viral.
Yeah.
Let's take that idea, copy and taste.
Yeah.
But then let's put the unique spin on it.
Yeah.
Let's make it unique to Mr. Beast. So even the top guys, even the people who everyone goes, oh, but they've got teams spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on ideation. They're still taking what is proven to work, but then adapting it and putting their own spin on it.
Yeah.
Another example is they did a video called Train versus Giant Pit. Now, that video they made has got 250 million views or something.
Yeah, wow.
5 years before that video, there's another video called Train versus Giant Pit.
Right, okay.
So they've got the same thumbnail, the same title pretty much if you compare them side by side. But the difference is Mr. Beast just took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And he, didn't just have a train going into a giant pit. There was all these other experiments and all these different things. But they still took a proven video idea and then just made it even better.
Yeah. So that's where you start. And I think there's a common misconception of how long it actually takes to grow a YouTube channel. I mean, I know that you've probably had it as well. Creators or founders or brands would come to me and say, I want this to be, paying itself in the space of 6 months or 7 months or a year or whatever. And I do exactly the same which you do, which is just laugh, because it's an investment, it's a long-term investment. It's like property, or it's like search engine optimization. It takes a while, and it takes that learning and posting, and when you do post, you then get the feedback, and that's how you learn. And I think a lot of people are so scared to post because they don't think they're going to get it right, and they think they're going to get embarrassed. But the only way to learn is to post and to get that feedback loop from people that are commenting, and the analytics of YouTube. But if I did come to you very naively and said to you, how long will it take me to grow this YouTube channel, for example, like what would your answer be?
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, I know it would. Because that's what I say to people as well.
I always tell people to not focus on output goals
Yeah.
and only focus on input goals.
Okay.
The truth is, if I sat down here and said it will take you exactly 7 months and 3 days,
Yeah.
I'd be lying to you.
Okay.
So on YouTube, you cannot control the output. You cannot control how fast your channel grows. You cannot control how many subscribers you get. You cannot control how many views your videos get. That, unfortunately, is up to the algorithm gods or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can influence that and you can put yourself in the best possible position to grow.
Yeah.
But the only thing you can control is your input.
Okay.
So the only thing you can control is committing to making one video per week for 52 weeks and improving one thing at a time.
Yeah.
That is the secret golden formula to YouTube.
Okay.
The only thing you can ever guarantee is if you make one video per week for 52 weeks, if you do this podcast, you make one podcast episode per week that's high quality and you improve one thing on every podcast. Maybe it's a better title, maybe a better thumbnail, better questions, better whatever.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, your life will have changed in some way, shape, or form. That's the only thing I can guarantee. I can't put a view count on it. I can't put a subscriber count on it.
Yeah.
But there will be some connection that will improve your life, improve your business. That's the only thing you can guarantee. I've never seen it not happen.
Really?
So if anybody's watching this who wants to succeed on YouTube, forget about views, forget about, oh, I need this many subscribers by the end of the year.
Yeah.
You legitimately cannot control that.
Yeah.
And don't focus on the output. Focus on the input, which is one video per week, 52 weeks, and improve one thing at a time. And your life, business, and YouTube channel will change in some way.
And you think that's what it takes? 52 videos?
Yeah,
Can you
I've
do
never
more?
seen it. I've never seen it not happen.
Okay.
But it can happen a lot faster, right? So I've worked with people who've blown up on their third video. But if you set that as the expectation, you'll basically never get there, right? So that's the first thing I'd do. I'd switch the mindset. If anyone ever came to me and said, I want to blow up in 6 months, I wouldn't work with them. I would say, you've got to expect having no results for a year to really give this a proper go.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is by far the hardest platform to grow on. But if you can crack it, it's the best platform to grow on for a whole host of different reasons.
Why is it the hardest platform to grow on?
Because when it comes to other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, it's very fast to get views. It's a lot less goes into making these different videos. You're often focusing on volume. Whereas on YouTube, you're focusing on value. You're focused on quality. And, with YouTube, there's scripting, there's filming, there's editing, there's ideation, there's your camera presence. There's often building teams if you're trying to outsource this because you're a busy business owner doing other stuff. And it just takes a lot longer to make a YouTube video as well in comparison to like a LinkedIn post or something. So YouTube is a much more of a commitment. It's like having a full-time job on top of your full-time job.
Yeah, great.
So the next phase, like, okay, if YouTube's so hard, how do you make it sustainable? That's the real question.
Okay.
And to do that, I love the James Clear quote, which is, you don't rise...
Is this the guy that wrote Atomic Habits?
Yes, James Clear wrote Atomic Habits, and he basically says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Yeah. And with YouTube, you need systems in order to make it a sustainable thing that you actually commit to over the course of a year. So when most business owners and whatever come to me and saying, hey, I want to grow on YouTube, it's cool. How can we systematize the process so that your involvement is you're still going to put time in, but we can remove you from, let's say, the editing. We can remove you from, let's say, the scripting. We can remove you from creating the thumbnails so you can buy back, let's say, 70% of your time.
Right.
So it just means, let's say, every Saturday you spend 4 or 5 hours on YouTube and that's all it takes, as opposed to, trying to do it all yourself and being really intense to begin with, but not consistent.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, consistency always beats intensity. So
Nice.
when you can outsource the sort of lower leverage tasks and you as the founder become what I call the CIO, the Chief Ideas Officer of your YouTube channel,
I like it.
then what you can do is you can basically make YouTube much more sustainable by implementing different systems into the YouTube process. And from there, that's how you can kind of grow sustainably long term.
Nice. Creators, from my perspective, creators generally can move a lot quicker than a brand could. How would a brand attack YouTube? How would a brand grow on YouTube? Because brands have red tape. They have a lot of systems and processes in place. They have brand guidelines. They have lots of people, lots of moving parts. And generally it's not, from my perspective, it's not as easy for a brand to go on YouTube as it is for a creator. How do they do it?
So I would say the principles are the same. For anyone to grow on YouTube, you've got to click, watch, retain. So you've got to make people click on the video. You've got to make them watch the video, and then you've got to retain them so they keep watching your videos and binging the content, right? So the principles of YouTube are the same. It doesn't matter if you're Mr. Beast, if you're Coca-Cola, if you're a little creator just starting out. It's all the same principles behind what makes a really successful YouTube channel. But for brands, there's a lot more bureaucracy and you've got to go through red tape, as you just said. A lot of that, in my experience, you need someone within the brand itself who understands YouTube and understands the long-term perspective, that this is not something where you're going to get an ROI in 3-4 months.
Yeah.
It's something that is going to take time. So from my perspective, when I've been working with different brands in the past, it's all about speaking to that individual who can understand that YouTube is this long-term game. And then they're the ones who basically speak to their boss's boss, who says, no, this is worth it, because in 2 years' time, when we do have 100,000 subscribers on this channel and we've got this really loyal audience who likes and cares about the brand, that's what's going to build cultural relevance. That's what's going to build market share, mind share, and an audience who actually likes and trusts us. From my experience, a lot of brands, because YouTube is a bit more ambiguous, what they'll do is they'll have a YouTube channel, but then they'll just whack paid ads behind it because it's more data driven and predictable. But as soon as you start spending the ad money, the views stop and there's no engagement there.
Yeah, and the algorithm goes to pot as well, right?
Exactly. So it's all about really getting people inside the internal team within the brand to understand the long-term perspective. And as you said earlier, in the same way you might buy a house and see that as a long-term investment, YouTube is exactly the same thing. I always call YouTube videos digital assets. Every video you make is going to be on YouTube today, tomorrow, and 5 years from now. And every video you make is an asset. So I kind of look at it from that lens. And if you see it from that perspective, you see everything you're doing on YouTube as an investment, so that 5 years from now, you are the brand or the creator or the company that said, 5 years ago, we're going to commit to doing YouTube, and you'll reap the rewards, 2, 3, 5 years from now.
And I think it's so important that a brand or anyone that works for the brand needs to understand that, like you said, YouTube is a completely different platform from TikTok, from Instagram, from Meta ads, from Google ads. Like it's its own separate universe, really. And once you do have that different mindset to the paid ads and the Meta ads and whatnot, then it really does start to thrive. It's an organic channel, and you've got to appreciate the reason as to why a viewer comes to YouTube, right? They're not there to buy your products. That's the least of their worries. They're going there to switch off, or they're going there to be entertained, or they're going there to be educated. And I feel like that's the two only reasons why you go to YouTube as a platform. And you see it. I mean, we've seen the back end of so many YouTube channels. You see the spikes go down as soon as a creator starts to try and sell anything, even like the tiniest way. And some creators are incredibly good at it. You look at like Max Frost, for example, like the way like he integrates his ads into his content is just incredible. And Matt Armstrong does exactly the same thing. And but when a brand's mission and the reason why they are a business and why they are a brand is to sell products. Nike want to sell trainers. And as soon as they start to push their trainers within, their channel and or within their videos, the retention drops down. What would you say to a brand who doesn't really understand that viewers are there to watch or to be entertained, educated, and not there to buy?
That's a really good question. So yeah, direct selling on YouTube is problematic because people don't like the feeling of being sold to.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at YouTube from a different perspective. If I go from my own example for my magic channel, 80% of all my revenue comes from email, not from my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So I always tell people YouTube builds your audience, email builds your business.
Okay.
So for me, the only purpose of my YouTube channel is not to directly sell something to my audience because they don't like that. They don't like being sold to. They don't like that vibe of exchanging money for their time, as it were.
Yeah.
Rather, I just try and look at it from a different angle where I've kind of got a different sales funnel where I'll create content. And then from the content, I will send people to a lead magnet where I can get their email.
Okay.
But the lead magnet is more free value.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, hey, buy this program that I've got, I say, hey, if you want extra help on this particular trick you're learning, you want my magic script, for example, what to say when performing it, just click the first thing in the description and download it completely free.
Right.
Then what happens is more people are like to do that because they're getting extra value as opposed to, hey, buy my program, which kind of, there's no value exchange there.
Sure.
And then what happens once I've got their email, I will basically email them the free thing. And then every single day, I've got like a 300-day email sequence.
Right.
I provide more value, more tricks.
Yeah.
And then it's all automated. But then there's just a soft sell every so often. Hey, by the way, if you like those last 5 free tricks, I actually do a full program that teaches, more magic, all the best stuff that's too good to reveal on YouTube.
Yeah. Click
the link here if you want to, check it out. So it's a lot more of a soft sell.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people more, especially creators, need to do when it comes to doing YouTube. Most people think, all these people making all this money from YouTube, it's because people are clicking the link in the description, buying things straight away.
I wish it worked like
that. Ali Abdaal makes 80% of his money through YouTube.
Right.
I've got a client called Will Brown who's on track to do $1 million in Jan this month from
Wow.
YouTube. No paid ads or anything.
Wow.
All of it comes through email.
Yeah.
It's email is like the best place to do it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as what a lot of people don't understand is YouTube is a rented audience.
Yeah.
So you're renting an audience from the CEO of YouTube. If you're on Twitter, you're renting an audience from Elon Musk. If you're on, Facebook, you're renting an audience from Mark Zuckerberg. But email is the only audience you actually own. Because if you make a YouTube video, you're lucky if 10% of people actually see that video from your subscriber base.
Yeah.
But if you send an email, 90 to 100% of those people will get that email in their inbox.
Yeah.
So that's the only audience you actually own. And if YouTube got deleted tomorrow or any of these platforms got deleted tomorrow, you lose that entire audience.
Right.
You can never lose an email list because there's no algorithm, there's none of that stuff. So the reason I share this is if you're looking to make money on YouTube as a creator, as a founder, as a brand, or whatever it is, getting people's email address is the number one priority.
Yeah.
To start making money because it's that.
So
it's
write
that
your
link.
email down
Yeah.
below.
We have a call to action now. Yeah.
And what about if you're a brand? Like, I can't see Red Bull posting a video and collecting emails. Like, how do they do it?
So some brands do. So if you've gone on the Nike YouTube channel, for example,
Yeah.
they send people to a membership thing, which is free, and then you put your email in and you join that.
Got it.
With brands like Red Bull, what they are more interested in is, again, not really email. It's more about people. It's more mind share. So the next step for Red Bull would get them to be watch more Red Bull videos or go to the other properties that Red Bull owns, such as like Red Bull Motorsports, Red Bull Snow. And what they want to do is they want to basically get mind share, which is people thinking about Red Bull more and more and more. So what Red Bull should do is at the end of one of their videos, they just have a call to action that's not, hey, give me your email. It's, hey, go and watch this other video that we've made here that's even more crazy, even better. And people start binging the Red Bull content or any brand this is.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when people really are thinking about, these big brands all the time. So a really more simple example would be the reason Coke will spend $20 million on an advert before the Super Bowl isn't so that people see the advert and then run to their computer or run to the local corner shop and buy a Coke.
Yeah.
It's just so people are thinking about Coke and the brand's got cultural relevance.
Yeah.
YouTube acts in exactly the same way. And the craziest part is if you do it right, YouTube can get more targeted views than something like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull's got nearly 28 billion views across their entire channel.
Right.
If you were to pay for that through ads or adverts in the Super Bowl or whatever, which by the way are not even targeted because it's been shown to everyone, it would cost you, I don't even know the number, I'm not going to make it, probably billions of dollars, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars to get that same viewership.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, all you've got to do is make really good content, get people to binge it if you're a big brand, and you start to develop the same mind share and market share that these paid ads will get. The problem these brands have is they just don't see that long-term perspective because they're trying to tick boxes. They're often very data-driven. But if you look at the top brands doing it, like Red Bull, for example, the ROI on their YouTube channel is huge, which is why they're investing so heavily in it, because they've got through that curve of like, no views, no views, no views. Oh, now everything's taking off.
Yeah.
And other brands, my prediction for 2026 going forward is a lot of other brands are going to start seeing this and start investing very heavily into YouTube because they want to get the same market share and mind share.
The thing is, though, Red Bull have been doing it so well for the last decade almost. Why is it that still some huge brands are using their YouTube channel as just this paid ad machine, or I call it like the dumping ground of videos? It's like where their videos go to die almost. They're just a place just to get a link, just to put it onto their website or put it somewhere else. Like, why have they not done it 10 years ago? Is it because it's such an investment to start a YouTube channel? Like creating one YouTube video, I mean, this is a fairly, I guess, small production, right? But some of the videos that we've created for brands, they cost hundreds of thousands of pounds just for 2, 3, 4 videos. Is it because there's so much money up front and you're not going to see that back for 2, 3, 4 years, and when you do see it back in 3, 4 years, you can't attribute it to that first video that you did 4 years ago? Like, why, if they can see Red Bull doing it so well, they can see all of these billions of views, why is it still so hard for them to be like, nah, we're just going to go for TikTok? TikTok's easier. We can just get our phones out and film videos.
Yeah, I think it's just because big brands tend to move very slowly. And it's very rare that you get a massive brand investing, because Red Bull's investing tens of millions, if not more, into their production team, their content and everything. But they are a marketing company at its very core, so they kind of get it.
Yeah.
Whereas a big brand like Nike or whatever, they've got 300 million followers on Instagram, and their Instagram page is incredible.
Yeah.
but it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Whereas YouTube, there's just a lot more to do. And if I don't know for sure, but I guess if they're looking at their balance sheet and they're trying to figure out this, or do we spend 10 million on, a YouTube channel this year, or do we spend 10 million on paid ads and guarantee the results because paid ads is guaranteed?
Sure.
My guess is most of the time the second one is a lot easier to justify when it comes to budget. So that's my guess, but brands are starting to shift. A lot of brands are starting to take it really seriously.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there are some outliers of, Red Bull and different companies out there that are doing really well on YouTube.
Yeah.
So in my head, like, why doesn't Monster do the same thing? If you look at the Monster YouTube channel, they've got the same product, the same everything.
Yeah.
But they just a lot slower to adapt. But as soon as someone in their team realizes this, there will be a flip. And or even like Mr. Beast Feastables, right? It's kind of like, when I go to a shop, I will buy a Feastables over a Mars bar just because I've seen it on YouTube so many times.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Mars bar, why doesn't Galaxy start sort of doing something similar?
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's just they haven't needed to for the last 20 years because paid ads and everything works so well. They're legacy brands. They're going to get sales anyway. So it's a lot easier to say no than it is to say yes.
Where's the fun in that, though?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I think this will change. And, the way in which brands are really starting to take YouTube seriously now, I think we're very much in an attention economy. And it's just the boss's boss at the brand.
It's just a mindset thing, isn't it? It really is a mindset thing. And like you said, it even goes to the extremities of, you won't work with someone if they come to you with the wrong mindset. And we're exactly the same. Like if you have that, we want to get it, if you have that paid ads mindset, I guess, then you're like, well, we can't work with you because you're not in the right headspace. You mentioned earlier that YouTube is not just a watch platform. It's not just, it's a click, it's a watch, and it's a retain. And I think the watch bit, we've covered that. It's creating good content. But I don't think a lot of people, whether you're a creator, whether you're a TikToker, whether you're a brand, I don't think a lot of people realize that, that's just 1/3 of the puzzle. The other part is, how do you get people to click on your video? And the other part is, when they're there, how do you get them to stay there? Those two parts are equally just as important, if not more important sometimes. Take me through your process of how you would get someone to click, watch, and then retain them all the way through right to the very end of the video.
Easy, yeah. So
easy, yeah?
Of course.
Yeah, it's well easy.
10 years. So the biggest problem people have when it comes to getting people to click on the video is they always worry about the how. How do I do a good thumbnail? How do I do a good title? How do I come up with a good idea? But what they forget about is the who. Who am I actually trying to make videos for? Because you could make the best video in the world, but if you make it for the wrong audience, it's never going to be a successful video.
Yeah.
So step one is you need to know exactly who you're making videos for. It doesn't matter if you're a big brand. It doesn't matter if you're a small little creator. The more targeted and the more specific you are on exactly who it is you're making videos for, the better your YouTube channel will do, because everything else is informed by this. If you know that you're making videos in, let's say, the fitness niche for men over 30 who want to lose weight before they get married. Let's just say that's your really specific niche. That informs your titles, that informs your thumbnails, that informs your scripting, that informs how you come across on camera. So knowing who you're making videos for is the single most important part. So before anyone worries about titles, thumbnails, any of that fun stuff, the first thing they need to do is actually sit down and understand who their ICP is, their ideal customer profile. And what you need to know is their age, their demographics, so like, where they're from, their gender and all that kind of stuff, but then also their goals and their pain points. And you need to be in a position where you understand your ideal viewer better than they understand themselves. You need to be able to articulate their problems better than they can articulate them themselves, because when they come across your videos, they go, oh, this was made for me. This really speaks my language. This person here, he understands who I am. And that's actually, later on when we could talk about it, that's how you turn viewers into buyers. It's not about having fancy editing or the best script in the world. It's, can you actually just solve real problems for real people? And if you can do that, that's when you start to actually make a YouTube channel that grows your brand, builds a loyal audience, and starts to make money. You've got to know who you're making videos for. So that's the first thing. You've got to spend time really figuring out who your ICP is. Once you know that, then it comes to packaging. And packaging is simply your idea, your title, thumbnail. So your video idea, the best way to come up with video ideas, well, first, actually before that, the first thing you need to do is you need to always come up with a video idea, title, and thumbnail before you film the video. So many people do this the other way around. They sit down, they go, oh, let me film a video. They'll script a video, film a video, edit a video, upload the video, and then they'll go, oh yeah, I need a title and thumbnail. So they'll whack something together in Photoshop, upload it, but the title and thumbnail's not good enough, and then the video doesn't get any views. And if people don't click, they don't watch.
Okay.
Right? So the first thing you need to do after knowing exactly who you're targeting is start coming up with really good video ideas that will match your ICP.
Yeah.
So what would they click on? What do they want to watch? And once you know that, then you can start coming up with titles and thumbnails that also align with the video idea.
Okay.
So I can go through a little bit of a process very quickly on how to do that if you want.
Please. Yeah, please do.
Sure. So basically ideas, 80% of the success of your next video will come down to how good your video idea is. 80%. So you need to come up with a video idea that's innately really interesting for your ideal audience. Very simply, what I use is a tool called 1 of 10. So you basically go on this tool called 1 of 10. It goes through all of the top performing videos on YouTube that have performed exceptionally well for that channel, for different channels on there. And I just find high performing videos on this 1 of 10 tool. And essentially you take that video idea as your starting point and then you iterate on it and make it better with your own unique spin. So that's how you come up with really good video ideas. Then when it comes to thumbnails and titles, very simply, titles, you want to keep them 55 characters or less. Any longer and you get this ... so people don't know what they're clicking on. It needs to also just be captivating, build curiosity, and just make something that people will really feel like, damn, I've got to click on that. So your ideal viewer needs to think, if I don't click on this, I'll lose sleep at night. That's like the level of you want your title. Because you're competing against all these other YouTubers out there. Watching content on YouTube isn't free. People pay with their time. And they're paying, they could spend time watching you, they could spend time watching all these other channels, they could spend time checking their Tinder, they could spend time on WhatsApp, whatever it is. You have to win their attention. That's what people are paying with. So your title needs to be super, super clickable. And generally speaking, from a stats perspective, you want a click-through rate of about 5.5%. That's like the minimum you want, meaning it's like a really good title that people are actually clicking on. So that's kind of titles. And then when it comes to thumbnails, you just, again, similar to the thing before, you want something that captivates people. There's so many things you can do with thumbnails, so I can't go into it all here. But generally speaking, you want bold colors, big numbers, faces with expressions on tend to be pretty good as well because they draw the eye. And you just, again, want a thumbnail that people really enjoy and like, oh, that grabs my attention. And then they'll click on it because the thumbnail and title work together to build that curiosity. At the end of the day, the only reason why someone will click on your video is because that title and thumbnail and idea build curiosity. And the more curiosity you build, the more likely someone is to actually click on the video itself. So what I do is once I do this whole process, I kind of step back and I just go, will this build loads of curiosity for my ideal viewer? And if the answer is yes, then it's a great thumbnail and title. And if the answer is no, you need to redo it.
So, shall we do this live?
Go for it.
So, my plan was to name the episode of this channel of this video, "How to Grow a YouTube Channel in 2026." How would you, if I came to you, well, I've came to you and said that is my title of this video, how would you make that so there's more curiosity? How would you change it potentially? How would you develop it? And I've also said a bit of thumbnail direction. My plan of my video is just here, which is almost like a system, a blueprint sort of theme with you holding like the blueprint to how to grow a YouTube channel in 2026, and then some of it's going to be blurred. That's my vision for the video. Is there any parts of that which you would change, like add more curiosity or develop it further?
Really good question.
I'm not ashamed, by the way.
No, that's great.
I want to learn.
So we'll do this live, but I'll give you my actual system to doing this. And then we can go through the system and check it off.
Go for it.
So I follow something called the BENS system.
Okay.
So BENS.
Yeah.
And if your thumbnail and title match the BENS system that I'll explain in a second, then it's a really good thumbnail and title. And if not, you need to redo it.
Yeah.
So B stands for big claim.
Yeah.
E stands for easy to do.
Yeah.
N stands for new. And S stands for safe. So we'll go through these one by one.
Okay.
But if your YouTube video can have a big claim, be new, be easy to do and safe, then it indicates that it's a really, really strong YouTube title, thumbnail, video idea and whatnot. So B is big claim. So if we just go to
So how to grow a YouTube channel in 2026. I think it could be bigger potentially.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's maybe like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
So
Don't worry, my feelings aren't hurt.
How to grow a YouTube channel in 2026.
Yeah.
Can we put in a word that makes this even more exciting? Maybe it's the exact system.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exact system to grow a YouTube channel in 2026.
Yeah.
That would raise the stakes.
Okay.
But then also, we can also think about the thumbnail. Can we also make a bigger claim in there?
Yeah.
So for example, if you're using me, let's just say I've got 1.5 million subscribers.
Yeah.
If you have like an arrow pointed to my head saying 1.5 million subscribers, that's an even bigger claim. It builds more curiosity because you're learning from someone who's got over 1 million subscribers, right?
Or we could talk about potentially monthly recurring revenue as well.
So that's another really good one. So if it was, if I'm doing, let's say $100,000 a month from my channel, then you can have an arrow pointed to me saying $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
Massive. So that you see how that's increased the claim.
Yeah.
Much, much bigger. So that's the first change. E stands for easy to do.
Okay.
So what this kind of is like, does this feel easy? If you said the 72-step system to growing a YouTube channel in 2020, people are like, that's not easy. If you go the 3-step system or the exact system,
Okay.
then it does suddenly seem easier to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Although it might not be, but you know, at first it seems easier.
Or if you talk about holding the sign up and it kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't need to say the 3-step system, but if you show that in the thumbnail, suddenly this seems easy for the viewer. People don't like to click on things that are hard to do, right?
Sure.
So
yeah, of course.
that's the next thing. New. If you can't always make everything new, so you don't have for every video, it doesn't have to be the new way to do this, new way to do that. But if it was the new way to grow on YouTube, the new system for growing on YouTube in 2026.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So new, people love new information.
Yeah.
Right? So anything that's new, oh, I need to know this because they want to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So maybe, again, it's easier to do this when you have all the titles laid out on a computer, but I'm just sort of brainstorming it now. But if it was the new system to grow on YouTube in 2026, and then the thumbnail was maybe me holding a thing, it could have the revenue and then the different system, that would be really good.
Okay.
So I think we could also put new in there.
Yeah.
And then also 2026
Yeah.
implies that it's new as well because it's relevant right now.
Sure.
So you could also have like the exact system for growing on YouTube in 2026. That would also be new because it's got 2026 in there. And then safe is there like a system? Is there a process? Does this like feel safe?
Okay.
So again, because we've already answered this, because we said that the system to doing this, the playbook, the blueprint, and we're showing it, that again does feel safe.
Okay.
So that's the kind of route I would go down for this one.
So there we go. So we're going to test now. Whatever you guys see at the bottom of this video and the thumbnail is all because of that. So thank you. I thought that was potentially a good way of viewers really understanding and brands and YouTubers and aspiring YouTubers to really understand the level of detail that you need to be going into when doing your packaging at the start, but before creating a video, because so many brands just go, I just want to create this good video, but like you said, it's click and watch. It's not just watch.
A really common question people ask me is they go, I've got a really good idea. We're going to do this. I just can't think of a good title and thumbnail. If that's the case, then it's not a good video idea.
Yeah.
And you've got to redo it.
Right,
there's literally no point making a YouTube video if you can't package it correctly.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time, money, and energy.
Yeah.
Because if people don't click on the video, they don't watch the video. So you could have the best video in the world, but if it's packaged badly, no one will ever see it.
So true. And would you recommend testing thumbnails, split testing thumbnails and split testing titles?
Yeah, so you don't want to test both at the same time, because if you split test a title and a thumbnail for like 5 different variations, then you don't know if it was the title or thumbnail that made it work.
Yeah.
So what I tend to do is I'll have one title and split test 3 different thumbnails.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out the best thumbnail, and then we'll choose the best thumbnail and split test it again with 3 different titles. Okay. So you just kind of change one variable at a time.
And if you are split testing thumbnails, how drastic should you be with your changes to the thumbnails? Should it be 3 completely different thumbnails, or changing the color of my t-shirt, for example? Like,
yeah, it can. It's honestly, it's sort of up. That's the whole point of split testing, right? So I don't have any hard and fast rules there. Generally, with thumbnails, I'll change the text. So if we just go to the example we just talked about, it might be changing. Let's say I'm holding a sign in one.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one I'm not holding a sign. It's just the revenue.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one it's just the subscriber count.
Yeah.
And then for some people, the subscriber count will draw them in. Maybe more people will be clicked on the revenue. But hey, maybe more people want the system. They don't care about how much this random person makes. They want the system to growing on YouTube. So they click on that thumbnail. And then you go, that's what people click on.
Yeah. And
then the next time you make a video, you know what your audience wants more. So then let's just say is this whole system thing. You could make a theme on this podcast talking about the system for doing this. This Max Fosh's system for getting 1 million views a video. You know? And that's maybe the system is the word that you really hold on to because you know it works.
Yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing with YouTube, right? Everything compounds over time. So one of the reasons why channels don't do well to begin with is because you've got no data to back things up. But once you've made, my magic channel, I've made 500 videos.
Wow.
So I know what my audience likes and doesn't like.
Yeah.
So I can just take things from my own library that have already proven to work and I can just iterate and improve on that.
Yeah.
And then implement that into my content strategy.
And that's the biggest reason why you should just start posting, right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't know all of this information you know now about your YouTube channel and about your audience on your YouTube channel specifically if you hadn't posted and posted and posted and learn and learn and learn. And they're only failures, these videos, if you haven't learned from them.
Yeah.
And then you've carried those learnings on into tiny improvements, and not even 1%, like even smaller than 1% improvements every single video, and grown and grown and grown. Okay, so we've covered the click, we've covered the watch. The last bit of the magic puzzle. I'm making this easy now. It's a 3-step system. It's yours actually, not mine. Which is retention. I personally think keeping a viewer watching to the very end of a video, some brands and creators are lucky to even get 10% of their viewers. You often see the graph, as typical, is like that, and it goes down. How do you get a YouTube viewer to watch the entirety of your video?
Yeah, so retention is kind of 2 parts. It's 1, making them watch as much of your video as possible, but 2, making them watch other ones of your videos as well. So there's kind of 2 different parts to it. If we start with, it all comes down to the structure of the video. So I always tell people, when you come to script your video or frame your video, as it were, follow the HIVE formula, which stands for hook, intro, value, end screen.
Okay.
So if you do this, it means people just watch most of the way through because there's a logical structure to your content itself.
Yeah.
So hook basically means within the first 10 seconds, you've got to match the expectation set by the title and thumbnail.
Okay.
If you don't do that, then people just click off straight away. That's often why the retention drops so much at the beginning, is because you don't match the expectations set by your title and thumbnail.
Do you mean by that as in the clickbait is too strong, essentially? Too much? Kind
of. So if I give you an example, if we said the title of this next video, this podcast is going to be the exact system to growing a YouTube channel in 2026, hypothetically. If you start off this podcast by going, hey guys, welcome back. So we're here in London, we're doing this, and you go on for like 20 seconds about anything else, people will click off.
Yeah.
But if you begin the video by going, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to share the exact system that you need to follow to grow on YouTube in 2026. Instantly, you've matched the expectations set by the title and thumbnail, so people are more likely to keep watching. Yeah. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Anything else that comes out your mouth, if you thank your subscribers or whatever it is, people just click off. So the first thing, and people, this is like the hook. The hook, you don't need to overcomplicate it. It literally just needs to repeat the title, so people don't feel clickbaited.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, you then need to move on to the introduction. The introduction is just giving yourself credibility and why people should listen to you over all the other YouTube channels talking about the same thing. So in the case of this video, you could be like, and today we've got Oscar on the channel. He's grown his channel from 0 to 1.5 million subscribers, and he's going to be teaching you how to do X, Y, Z with this 3-step system. This now gives people a reason to watch the video and kind of separates the video from all the hundreds of other videos on YouTube talking about how to grow on YouTube, essentially. And that's kind of the credibility side of things.
Okay.
The important thing here is that you've got to get this whole section done in 30 seconds maximum. Because if you bang on being like, oh, he's done this, and by the way, subscribe, and do, people, again, they're not actually there for that. They're there for the value. Basically, within the first 30 seconds, you need to hook people in by matching the title. Then your intro, the eye of the HIVE formula, just needs to give credibility in 1 to 2 sentences, explaining why people should watch the video and raising the stakes.
Yeah.
So today we're actually that's why podcasts often have trailers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
Watch Diver CEO.
Yeah.
That trailer, all the little clips in there, because it raises the stakes. People go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you want to watch the whole thing.
Okay.
V stands for value. So that's the actual points you're making in the video. Now on a podcast, it's a bit different because we're just having a chat.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing a talking head video, you normally want to split your video into 3 to 5 different points and then have different points of value throughout the video. And then E stands for end screen.
Yeah.
And end screen basically means you want to get people from watching your current video to another one of your videos. And the best way to do that is, instead of saying, hey, thanks so much for watching this podcast, go and watch this other one, or hit like and subscribe or whatever. At the end of your video, you want to set up a new problem and tell people that this other podcast of yours will solve the problem, or this other YouTube video of yours will solve the problem.
Okay.
So let's just say you get, who's another person you've had on this podcast?
The OG boys.
And what was the thing that they talked to you about?
They talked a lot about their YouTube story, and they're like shorts creators. So they mentioned about how to create really, really, how to create viral shorts, essentially.
Okay. So the end of this podcast, what you could do is you could be like, okay, so now you've got the full strategy for knowing how to grow on long form on YouTube.
Yeah.
But the other part that no one talks about is YouTube short form.
Yeah.
And if you can get short form right, you can 10x the growth of your channel. So go and watch this video here where we break down with these two guys exactly how to go viral on YouTube using YouTube Shorts. So what you've done is you've taken this and you've connected it to another video.
Yeah.
And it means people finish this podcast or finish a YouTube video and they go, oh, I've got to watch this other thing.
Yeah.
Right. So one that I often talk about is let's say that I was doing a talking head video, how to grow on YouTube in 2026.
Yeah.
I might have a video like we're doing now. And at the end, there might be something like, but everything I've just told you in this video is completely useless if you don't have the right kind of mindset when it comes to doing YouTube. So go and watch this video here where I break down how to have the mindset to do YouTube for a year, because I explain it all there.
Yeah.
Suddenly people watch this video, they go to the next one, and it creates a content journey.
Yeah.
That means people spend more time with you.
Yeah.
And the more time people spend with you, the more trust is built.
Yeah.
And the more trust is built, that's when people binge your content, they start liking you, your personal brand, they buy things from you, and all the wonderful things from YouTube happen.
Yeah.
But only when people spend time with you.
Wow. God, I'm gaining so much information now. Thank you so much.
And I'd say really, and we talked about this before we actually started, but the magical number is 7 hours. So Google did a study a few years ago, and they basically said from all of their data, from everything that they own, if someone spends 7 hours watching your content, they're far more likely to like you, trust you, and ultimately buy from you. So anyone creating content, if you just see 7 hours, you want your ideal viewers watching 7 hours of your content, that's when they're going to start turning from a viewer into a buyer.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you get people to consume 7 hours of your content?
Yeah.
Obviously, everything we've just talked about,
Yeah.
getting them to watch all the stuff, getting them to watch other videos is super important.
Yeah.
But the other thing I would say, especially for people wanting to do YouTube, is if you're going to really go all in on YouTube, don't also go all in on TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn. Choose one platform and master it. It's better to master one platform than be, decent at 15 different platforms.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
And the question then is, okay, which platform should I master?
Yeah.
Is it YouTube? Is it Twitter? Is it LinkedIn? Although these other platforms are easier, if you remember that 7 hours is the golden number that people need to consume to actually buy from you. If we look at Twitter, assuming people spend 7 seconds reading a tweet, they need to consume 3,200 tweets before they get to the 7 hour mark.
Wow.
If we look at LinkedIn, assuming people spend 30 seconds reading a LinkedIn post, it's 840 LinkedIn posts before they hit the 7 hour mark and they want to trust you and buy from you. On Instagram and TikTok, all these sort of short form platforms, assuming people spend 60 seconds watching the short form video, they need to watch 420 short form videos to hit the 7 hour mark. But on YouTube, it's literally 15 to 20 videos, assuming people, the videos are like 15 to 20 minutes long.
Wow.
That's all it takes. So podcasts even less, right? Because this podcast might be an hour, so it might be just 5 or 6 podcast episodes, and then they're at the magical 7 hour mark. So again, this kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier. When it comes to doing YouTube, building that trust, be it for a brand, whatever it is, YouTube is just the single best place to build that trust if you do YouTube right.
And when a brand or creator comes to you and says, how long does this take?
Yeah, about a year.
Yeah, it's all about the inputs and the actions that you do. You can't control the outcome. Just keep going and keep going and keep learning and keep growing and keep growing. And we said this earlier as well, and that's why the value of a YouTube subscriber is worth 10x than a TikTok follower or a TikTok view, right? Because they're spending so much time with you and they want to spend so much time with you. And you think about how your journey to even buying some trainers or subscribing to a YouTube channel, they're very similar things, really. I think you see Nike's adverts on the tube and you see them on your Instagram feed, and then you see them, they're here, then you watch a bit of content, and then 7 hours later, like it would be on YouTube, you'll eventually subscribe to them, and then you want to watch more of their content. And I always think the subscribers subscribe for predictability, and that's what they want essentially. They love the videos, they keep watching more, and then they want more of that same thing. And the subscribers that have subscribed to your channel, that is your mountain of value. And the more you know them is, you learn about them more, the more you post. And it's as simple as that, right?
I would say if I could summarize why YouTube is so powerful in 3 words, it would be trust at scale. So all YouTube does is it just builds trust at scale. I don't really care about views. I care about the amount of time people spend with me, as we just talked about.
Yeah.
So for some context, on my Magic YouTube channel, I went through the total amount of watch time that I've had. So I've hit 350 million views on that channel, which is really cool. It doesn't mean anything because it's just views.
Yeah.
How much time have those people spent with me is 10.9 million hours,
Wow.
which is a lot. And if you break it down, if I spoke to each person one-to-one,
Yeah.
it would have taken me 1,125 years. So what YouTube has done is it's been able to condense all of that time
Yeah.
into, 300 videos essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just built trust at scale. And it's going to be the same with brands. It's going to be the same with little creators trying to build a business on YouTube. It's going to be the same with people trying to do entertainment. All it's doing is just allowing you to almost multiply yourself 1,000x, million x in some cases. Yeah. Speak to lots of people at the same time, build that trust. And one thing that money can't buy is an audience who likes you. You can spend as much money as you want on adverts, but as soon as you stop spending the money on adverts, the audience goes. So the one thing money can't buy is an audience who likes you and trusts you. And YouTube is just the best place in the world to build that. And once you have that audience, once you've built that trust at scale, what you do with that is up to you. Be it a brand, be it a little creator, be it a podcast. It doesn't really matter. But once you have that as an asset, it's almost invaluable because you can't buy it. You literally cannot buy an audience who loves you.
Yeah. And you said earlier, it's like, it puts like a moat around you, right? Because it's so, is it inaccessible? Loads of people we see blow up in TikTok in a day or whatever, or they post like a funny video of their nan on their phone and it just blows up. But it is a long-term play. It is a marathon that you're doing here. It's not something you've invested so much time and effort into learning about how cameras work and, learning about how to present yourself on camera and it just doesn't happen overnight. And personally, I think YouTubers should be respected way much more than a lot of people who don't go through all of that effort, because they are grafting and you hear of like this phrase blow up overnight, but it's not the case.
No.
You look at KSI and look at yourself. You said you've been posting since 2016. Is that right? Like, if I expected this podcast, this YouTube series to do well within 6 months, then I'd be delusional, I think, because it's not going to happen.
And the other thing as well, when you look at the people who do blow up very quickly, let's say Daniel Priestley, for example. Yeah. He's grown to 100,000 subscribers in less than a year. But he didn't blow up overnight. Yeah. He's written 6 best-selling books. Yeah. So the reason he's been on the Diary of a CEO, like 7, I think the most popular guest or something on that. Yeah. And it's like, he didn't blow up overnight. He spent 20 years, 30 years building businesses to millions of dollars, writing all these different books. So obviously when he goes on YouTube and he's got a lot of credibility, he's passionate about his thing, he's got a really unique perspective, obviously there's profit to be made, and passion perspective, and he's proficient. Obviously, he's really, really good. Yeah. So once Daniel Priestley goes on YouTube, it looks like he's blown up overnight. It looks like it's really easy, but that's because you're just seeing the rewards after 20, 25 years of hard work. And most people coming to YouTube don't necessarily have that. Yeah. So I don't really believe there's many people who've ever blown up overnight. Of course, there are some people who've got a really great personality, or they're 7'2", so there's something so unique about them they blow up. But most of the time it's about having that long-term perspective. Yeah. And I would argue that YouTube is 80% mindset, 20% execution. Really? I genuinely believe anyone can be successful on YouTube. It's just a bunch of skills you've got to learn. But most people do not have the mindset to stick through it the whole way through. Yeah. So when I often work with people, that's always the first thing we sit on, and I talk, let's talk about mindset, and people go, oh, I don't want to talk about mindset. I've heard about mindset, read lots of books on mindset. How do I make a good thumbnail? How do I make it? It's like, no, you've really got to understand that you're motivated now, but 6 months, in 6 months' time, once you spent time, money, energy making videos, and you still have no results, really, that's when your mindset is going to start playing tricks on you. Yeah, that's when it's going to get tested, right? So the bit of advice I'd give people with regards to mindset, 'cause I think we've talked about it, is I always tell people to write out their dream scenario and their what if scenario. So before you build a channel, write out your dream scenario, which is like, hey, if I do this YouTube channel, I will meet new people, I'll get views, I'll get subscribers, it will be a new arm for my business, and write all these amazing things that will happen. Then write out your what if scenario, pen and paper, literally going, if I don't make this YouTube channel, I'll look back a year from now going, oh, what if I did it? If I don't make this YouTube channel, what people won't I meet? What business deals won't I close? What opportunities won't come my way? And you write these 2 things out. And then every single person I work with, I swear this is true, I make them when I hop on a call with them, read it out to me at the beginning of every single call. And then they have to put that on their desk and they've got to read it every single morning. And it takes 30 seconds, but it just resets their mind to know exactly why they're doing the thing that they're doing and why they're committing so much time to doing this.
Yeah.
And often the funny thing is people will do more to get out of pain than they will do to pursue pleasure. So it's the what if scenario, the painful scenario of what happens if they don't do the YouTube channel. That's what often pushes them through the hard times of like, damn, I've made 15 videos and I'm getting 5 views per video. It's the what if scenario is what gets them through that.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, if you can do it 1 video per week, 52 weeks, improve one thing at a time, it will compound and it will start to take off. And the best part is once you get one video that breaks through, everything else comes up with it. Right, it's like a rising tide. So you can get videos with like 10 views, 20 views, 100 views. You get one video that breaks through because it deserves 50,000 views because you now know how to script, how to film, how to edit, how to speak on camera. You understand all these things. And once they all align, that video gets 50,000 views, let's say. All of your other videos, like a rising tide, come up with it. Right. And then everything compounds. And then you go from like 0 to 100 in the space of a week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, if someone said to me, okay, you've got to do 100 videos, by the end of it, I'm going to give you 100 grand. You know, I'd do it.
You do it, exactly.
But I'm not going to pay you right to the very end, but you've got to do 100 videos. And that's kind of where you got to look at it, really. It's like, okay, maybe this podcast is costing me a fair bob to do for the first year or first 2 years or first 3 years. But ultimately, like you said, it's going to be a rising tide, and then eventually it's going to come back round full circle, and then you're going to gain profit, right? It's an investment.
But even if you didn't, but you managed to get people on the podcast who you connect with, who you get to know, that in itself, if we forget about views for a second, just the connections you'll make from doing a podcast is huge, and there will be an ROI. Obviously, we want it to grow, and obviously we want it to get, and if you just stick at it, it will. But there's so many benefits from doing YouTube that are beyond just like, oh, nice, I got 10,000 views. Like there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, from brands wanting to work with you, from getting really good at storytelling, from becoming confident on camera. There's other things that go alongside it as well. I think YouTubers, they're very good at like script writing. They're very good at talking on camera. They understand how different things work. You also get a lot better at teaching. So the thing for me, I realized as well, was when I started teaching YouTube, despite having my following on my magic channel, I had no idea how to teach it or how to like speak about you. I had no idea what to do, or the different frameworks or the things that I now reference. But I only learned that through making YouTube videos, teaching the thing. I made like 20, 30 videos, weren't very good teaching YouTube. And then I started to learn, oh, this is better, or explaining it this way is better than this way. And then you actually get good at teaching the thing you're passionate about. And then let's just say you do a mastermind, you give a talk, you're a lot better at doing the thing just because YouTube has trained you up. So there's benefits beyond just like views as well.
My friend Nathan quotes a framework he calls the plus equals minus model. And essentially it's about, you know, getting help from people who are above you, but also helping people that are below you in the minus. And both, although you naturally think, I need help from the person who's above me in subscribers or above me in monthly revenue or business or, you know, whatever it might be, actually this is equal as it is helping people than it is receiving help from people. Because like you said, you learn so much more from it, or equal to it. Going back to the mindset piece, when I was speaking to the OG boys, Chaz in particular said right from the very start, he had this delusional belief that he was going to make it as a YouTuber. He said it was so delusional that no one, even his brother that he does content with today, that makes the other half of the OG boys, couldn't believe it, because his mindset was so strong and he just knew how hard he worked. He knew that he would work so hard that it would happen one day. Do you think you need that delusional belief to make it on YouTube?
Somewhat, yeah. I think YouTube's like a weird thing where you legit have to fail 50 times before you see success. And if you told anyone you've got to do this thing over and over again and fail that many times, I don't think most people would do it. Like imagine you were trying to learn the guitar. And it's like, for the first 30 weeks, you're just going to make no progress.
Or ride a bike and you fall off it and crack your head open every time.
Exactly. And then you just wouldn't do the thing. You'd go and find something else to do. So I think there has to be delusion. I don't think I'd use the word delusional, but like there has to be a very strong belief there for sure. But I do genuinely believe anyone can do it. So long as you've got, if you've got a bit of a skill, and most people do, you can teach something, you can provide value to others in some way. I do believe anyone can be successful on YouTube, but it is about having that belief and having the systems and the processes and not trying to just dabble with it.
Okay.
But if you're going to dabble with YouTube and be like, oh yeah, I'll upload a few videos. Oh no, but I can't because I'm going out with my mates tonight on this.
Yeah.
And it's a Friday night. It's like, no, you can't, because then you're not going to be consistent. And
Yeah.
if you're not consistent on YouTube, it just won't happen. So I think you've got to have a very strong belief for sure that you will prioritize this over pretty much everything else in your life. But then when things flip around and when you start to see success, it's totally worth it.
I've had a similar story. I've tried YouTube in the past a few different times, and tried a bit of vlogging and a bit of teaching and whatnot, and I've just dabbled in it and it's never really worked. And the end of the last year I said, right, this is my idea. I told you before, I got inspiration from going to Vid Summit and in Texas, and said to myself, right, I'm taking this very, very seriously now. I've to the point where I've quit alcohol completely, because
Nice.
I've gone, right, it's just getting in the way. It is stopping me from being as productive as I want to be here. There's negatives to the positives, but that's a conversation for another day. And you're right. And now I've got this mindset of, I need to be consistent. I need to post regularly. I need to set up as many I need to set up the podcast with the right guests, and I implement all these different systems and have an editor on board, and I've hired an editor and all these different types of things. It does start to slowly fit into place. And what I wanted to know from you is that what you need to become successful? Like, what is the difference between a creator and a YouTuber that does well in the first year and someone that maybe takes like 5 years to become successful?
It's just the people who don't stop.
Really?
That's really it.
Yeah.
I think there's not many people out there who've posted consistently for 5 years and have had no success.
Yeah.
Obviously, success is dependent on how you define it, but it's about being really consistent and having the strategy, which I think you just said. You've got the editor and this and this and this, and getting really clear on that so you can leverage your time effectively. But then I'd also say it's the tactics as well. So the strategy is kind of the bigger picture. But the tactics, in your case, for example, I'd be thinking, okay, I understand the strategy. We're going to do one video per week, 52 weeks. We're going to do this. I've got the team here. I've got this. And we're going to do these kind of thumbnails and whatnot. But the tactics, in my view, would then be like, okay, how can we 10x this? How can we start to be smart and speed it up? And in your case, I would put most of my effort into probably getting really big names. So I'd probably look at John, I've got his surname.
Ishwai.
Hopefully he doesn't see this.
Yeah, please don't watch this, John.
But I would look at how he grew.
Yeah.
I would look at how Colin Samir grew.
Yeah.
I'd look at how the other people within the industry you're in grew. And then I'd start to become really tactical with your time. Because if all you do is just make videos and you don't improve stuff with each video, you're going to just kind of flatline, and then it becomes a headache and you're investing money and it becomes really annoying.
Sure.
But if you go, well, what was really interesting about these guys is they got Mr. Beast on.
Yeah.
They got this guy on.
Yeah.
That's how they grew. So if we can extrapolate that, like, okay, they got really big names onto their podcast that gave it that initial boost. Then they might have like hosted something at Vid Summit or whatever. Okay, that was the next thing they did. That was stage 2. So getting a bit more of like a public appearance at like bigger events. Okay, cool. That might be the route that you'd go down.
Yeah.
So you'd maybe start off by going, okay, who are the biggest YouTubers in the UK? Let's say it was KSI. Let's say it was Max Fosh. Let's say these guys. Cool. We need them on the podcast.
Yeah. Jack, mate, I've messaged you, by the way. You need to reply.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I do. Once you've got the system in place, get comfortable doing what you're doing. Amazing. Done. So you want to get reps in, do podcasts with different people, really understand how the process works. But then it's like, okay, let's get the big boys on.
Yeah.
Whatever way you do it, I don't know. But like, I know loads of podcasts, for example. I'm not saying you should do this, but loads of they used to like pay them loads.
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards, but there's some interesting things.
No. Tell the guests.
I'll get cancelled. I think. But some very famous podcasts, they were spending a lot of money initially to get people on.
Wow.
I'm not saying you do that. I think it's better to get connections and make it authentic.
Sure, absolutely.
Once you get them on, it raises you to that next level.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, okay, cool. So now we've had these 5 really big guests on, the biggest guys in the UK. And there's the 1 billion follower summit in Dubai happening. Well, it's too soon, but like, let's say that was in a few months, or some other thing, maybe not Vid Summit, but there's another thing going on in the UK or Europe. Cool. Let's contact the owners there and give a speech there.
Yeah.
And then, and you sort of see it this way. It's like kind of climbing a pyramid.
Yeah.
Then maybe you go on other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
We mentioned Daniel Priestley, for example.
Yeah.
You could maybe get him on or do a joint video with someone like him. And then you're sort of social hacking other people, but you've got your own value you're providing because you're like the YouTube guy in the UK. And that's really how you're going to grow. If your entire system was, now I'll just make one video a week, 52 weeks, as we've talked about,
Yeah.
but just get any old person on the podcast, just rinse and repeat, oh God, I've got to make another video.
Yeah.
It probably won't work.
Yeah.
Right? So I would kind of see it in almost like a pyramid, different stages.
Okay.
And then when you get to the top, like what would be the ultimate outcome? Okay, you're getting loads of views, but you're probably talking with the top creators and doing this, and you're giving speeches. You can get there, but you've got to be tactical about it as well. So I always think YouTube's kind of split into systems and tactics. The system is probably what you've got right now.
Yeah.
But then the tactics is kind of like the little 10x moves that get you to the next level.
Okay. Yeah. And Daniel, like I keep mentioning Daniel Priestley. Daniel Priestley, come on this episode. He talks about partnerships, right? And and it's a big part of, well, my business, Trendy Granddad. I've grown our entire agency on partnerships and leveraging partnerships with people that I know and connections. And it's exactly the same thing in a YouTube channel, right? It's how do you leverage all these different growth tactics? How do you get that that competitive advantage compared to other people? Who do you know that can introduce you? How do you use different tools? And I don't think there's one answer to growing on YouTube, really. It's just what all these different types of things you can just keep doing. So just building this picture and just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And everyone has their own journey, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't. There's no singular path to doing it.
Yeah.
Which is why I think one of the problems with the YouTube education space is every week there's a new hack. Every week there's a new tactic.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that some things don't work.
Yeah.
Like I think, for example, we've talked about how to do these thumbnail things. I think these are all cool. But like realistically, the bend system we talked about earlier, you can apply it. And the truth is, to begin with, the video still won't get any views. You might be like, oh, damn, the system doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's just you haven't done it long enough.
Yeah.
You just haven't. But so I kind of see these little tactics as like little, maybe 1% needle movers that, stack the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
Right. And it's great to apply as many as possible. But the problem is people get so caught up in it. Oh, what's the best time to post?
Yeah.
Should I have tags or no tags? And it's like, at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in YouTube, you've got to post consistently. Yeah. And you've got to solve real problems for real people. And that is it.
That is the hack.
The client that I work with, I mentioned him earlier, Will Brown. So he did $580,000 from YouTube last month. And he's on track to do $1 million in Jan.
Wow.
And people always ask me, how the hell does he make so much money?
Yeah.
How does he do it? Because if you then watch his videos, he's no thumbnails.
Right.
So his literally is a screen grab. He records his videos on his iMac.
Right.
So no fancy camera, zero script.
Yeah.
He legitimately just goes and turns on the camera and starts talking.
Wow.
How does he do it?
Yeah.
He's really, really good. He's a bit like Daniel Priestley. He's very, very experienced and
super knowledgeable.
But he's only getting 5,000 views a video. And the reason is he's got a very good back end where he sells XYZ, sort of beyond the scope of this conversation. But the truth is he knows exactly who he's targeting. Yeah. He knows, like, he can literally describe their problems better than they can do it themselves.
Really?
So he knows exactly how he attracts the right people, he educates them, and he just solves real problems for them, really speaks their language, and then he converts them from viewers to buyers by having call to actions and the other things we talked about. So it's attract, educate, convert. Right. And the better you get at those three things, the more likely you are to build a channel that actually makes you money.
And that's the secret sauce. And there's so many brands and even creators that are just completely just tearing up the YouTube space. I mean, I look at Sam Sulek, the bodybuilder who's now got a Gymshark contract and whatnot, and he doesn't have any fancy editing, he doesn't have any crazy thumbnails or whatever, and again it's just a screen grab similar to your client Will. And he literally, for every single day for like 3 years, just put his phone in his car and talked on the way to the gym, at the gym, and then on the way home from the gym. And he's so knowledgeable about the gym and how to grow insanely big muscles that's why people watch this content.
And he's a very good storyteller as well.
And a very good storyteller.
So again, it's sort of like this thing which is a very common question I get asked about gear. Because they'll see Sam Sulek and they'll be like, can I just film on my webcam like he does or whatever? Or do I need like the best equipment?
Yeah.
And my answer is one of those things where it's like, it's kind of about stacking the odds in your favor, as I said earlier. So you can be really successful with just a webcam or a Sam Sulek approach. Of course you can. However, on YouTube, you want to give yourself the best opportunity to be successful. And generally speaking, if you do have a nice setup, nice lighting, it just comes across as a bit more professional, and maybe it makes your video 3% better.
Yeah.
But if you make 52 videos over the course of a year, and every video is 3% better because the equipment's a bit better, not filmed on your phone, but a proper camera, proper microphone, then again, it stacks the odds in your favor that your channel will do well. So the Sam Sulek one's a very interesting example because people often reference him. I remember, I think it was like this time last year, I went to the gym. I think he'd just blown up. And I saw like 10 guys in the gym all like recording their stuff. They'd clearly seen Sam Sulek, be like, oh, it's easy. I'll just... But Sam's unique advantage, what we talked about earlier, obviously he's 21 and he's massive. That helps. But there's a lot of guys who are pretty jacked on YouTube sort of talking about stuff.
But I'm not jealous at all.
But he was 21. That was the first unique advantage. And the second unique advantage, as you said, he's really knowledgeable, but really good at talking. So he just talks on the camera and he's really good storyteller. I don't have that. Most people don't have that. So that's a good example of a unique advantage that he had and he really leveraged. And it meant that the camera quality wasn't that good, didn't have to be that good. Now, let's just say he wasn't jacked or as big as he is, and let's just say his storytelling wasn't as good, then hey, he probably would need a better camera because he needs to separate himself in some way. So he probably would need to film maybe more cinematic content or have a cool intro to separate himself from other people. So it kind of really, it's almost like different levers. If he actually did have a really good camera, I actually think his channel would do better.
Really?
It's not like I don't think people subscribe to him because it's low quality content. I just think they like him.
Really?
So if he had a better quality camera, then I think it probably would do better. It's more watchable. But it's not needed because his storytelling skills are like up here.
Right, okay.
And that means his camera skills can be down here. But if your storytelling skills aren't naturally up here, and if you're not naturally jacked at 21 and your skills are down here, then you need to do other things. Maybe you have to script your videos out word for word to get your points across better. Maybe you do have to have better audio, microphones, cameras to kind of get this thing where you have more cards stacked in your favor, as it were. And then from there, again, that's just like, in my opinion, the sort of Sam Sulek example.
I like that because on the face of it, you think, oh, this guy's just effortless. You know, he's just filming in his car, but he's really not. Like you said, I love the way that you said there's all these different levers. Imagine there's like 20 levers in front of you. And it's like, right, what am I good at? What can I pull? What am I not good at? What can I not pull? And you've just got to, like you said, have the odds in your favor and ensure, that you're pulling the right levers, which are your levers to you and that are personal to you.
Well, I'll give you a better example. Imagine Jeff Bezos made a YouTube channel tomorrow.
Okay.
Imagine he filmed on his webcam. I think it would still do pretty well. Because Jeff Bezos has built $1 billion company, right? So it wouldn't be, oh no, but it's not going to do well because the quality's not very good. Or imagine Jeff Bezos just driving around having a chat about business. That would get millions of views, right? And people, and it's funny because then people were, but like with the Sam Sulek, people go, oh, it's successful because it's low quality and it's authentic. It's not really, no. It's because of these other factors. It'd be like, imagine Jeff Bezos doing it and people, oh, it's getting loads of views because Jeff's just filming his iPhone and everybody starts filming. It's nothing to do with that. It's because the person has a unique advantage that he's really leveraging.
So if Jeff Bezos was to start a YouTube channel tomorrow, how would he do it? What would it look like?
How I became a bazillionaire. That'd be his thumbnail.
What would be the channel theme? What would the thumbnails look like? What would the production quality look like?
He would be the easiest client in the world. You could have black thumbnails and it'd still do incredible.
I mean, you could charge him a lot, right?
Well, it's still coming back to like, obviously when people start YouTube channels and they say, I always say, like, what's the goal? It's like with this podcast, like what is the ultimate goal? Because if you're trying to steer a ship, as it were, but you don't know where you're going, then there's like, it makes it a lot harder to go to the sort of direction. So what is, for him, if it was him in the room, I'd be like, what are you trying to achieve from this? And a lot of people, if you forget him, there's a lot of people out there. Some of the people I work with are very successful founders and CEOs, and they've made all the money. They need to work another day in their life. And so I go, why? You've made all the money. You don't need the hassle of making these YouTube videos. You need to invest all this time into it when your time's obviously worth a lot. And a lot of them, everybody's got different reasons. Some people just love the idea of creating content. Other people want to give back. But most of the time, it's people, in my head, is people realizing that building in public and building a personal brand, as I said earlier, is the one thing that money can't buy. So I think there's a reason why Tim Cook's got more followers than Apple. There's a reason why Elon Musk has more followers than Tesla, SpaceX, and PayPal all put together. It's because people follow people and people follow personal brands. And I can't remember the exact study, but there've been loads of studies coming out where people would rather work with companies where they relate to the founder of that company. so much. I think that's one of the reasons why Mark Zuckerberg, for example, has become a lot more personable on Instagram.
Yeah.
Beforehand, he was this alien.
He's had a glow up, this guy.
Yeah, he's had a glow up. He's got nice watches on now and all this stuff. But that's like, he doesn't need to do this.
Yeah, of
right? He
course.
literally doesn't need to do a thing.
Yeah.
But he's starting to do this in my head because someone in his team has realized, like, damn, we need to
Yeah.
make him a bit more approachable.
Yeah.
But the message in my head is like, people follow founders.
Yeah.
And then whatever that founder does in the future, well, if you really like that founder, you're more likely to go and follow them.
Yeah.
It's why if we take a step lower, let's say we talk about Ali Abdaal,
Yeah.
it's why he can go and launch a best-selling book.
Yeah.
And then he can make a productivity thing and it sells out really well. He
Yeah.
can then do a mastermind and it sells out really well because people just like him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty and the power of building a personal brand. And a lot of these top guys are starting to realize that. So I think having a goal with your YouTube channel, even if that goal is just to become known for the thing that you do, is really, really important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you spend all this time building this stuff, you don't even know what you're doing it for.
Yeah. It's so true. On that then,
Well, I should ask you, what's the point of this podcast? What's the goal?
the goal is to educate brands about how to grow on YouTube, and more so than anything, to inspire younger creators to start a YouTube channel and to grow a YouTube channel, and to not feel embarrassed about doing it.
And is that something you relate to yourself?
I think for me, I've always wanted to help younger people. YouTube is something which I love. It's my vehicle, and that's something I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my goal. Is that okay?
That's really good.
Yeah.
And then I'd genuinely write it down. I'd literally write down, that's
Yeah.
what you want. That's your dream scenario. I'd be probably a bit more specific, like not by the end of the year, but like I wouldn't put a time frame on it because
Yeah.
we talked about earlier, you can't really control that. But you
Yeah.
can definitely be like, I want to inspire 100,000 young creators
Yeah.
to not necessarily, I don't know if this would be true, but like not necessarily go to university and take the traditional path,
Yeah.
but follow their passion, be creative,
Yeah.
and build, let's say it is a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
so that they can be known for what they're best at and
Yeah.
express themselves properly.
Yeah.
I would actually write that down as a channel vision.
Okay, I will.
And when it comes to channel visions, I think it's super important to summarize that in a lot more succinct way. It's, I help ideal viewer
Yeah.
transition from pain point to goal so
Yeah.
they can have a certain outcome.
Yeah.
So I help, or I would like to help, young people between the ages of 15 to 21 get out of a mindset where they have to go to university and get a job that they hate, so that and instead build a YouTube channel that gets views, subscribers, and so that they can be appreciated for who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
Like that could be your channel vision.
Yeah.
And then that's the point of this podcast. And it
Yeah.
just gives it clarity.
Okay.
And then everything you do going from there, it's like there's a reason behind what you do.
Yeah. See, I've always had it in my head with every business that I've ever done. I used to run a networking event for younger people and young founders. And, I've always been I speak at universities and schools just all the time, really, and teaching people about, how to start their own businesses and do their own thing in lives rather than going down the traditional route, because that's not what I did. I didn't go down the traditional route at all. And to make something of yourself and learn how to make your own money.
And this is your unique perspective.
Yeah, I guess so.
So this is why it's interesting, because by sharing that, you will alienate some people who don't relate. Some people go, I went to university, I loved it. Why?
Sure.
But other people, this is about getting specific on who you target. Other people will relate to that so much.
Yeah.
So let's just say you're talking about
so.
growing on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And there's another creator who talks about how to grow on YouTube, and then there's you who talks about how to grow on YouTube.
Yeah.
If one is just like generic, how to grow on YouTube, they're getting all these views and stuff.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, they're obviously doing very well. But if you're there and you might be smaller, you might have less of a following, but you're specifically talking about, look, this is my story, this is my journey, and other people relate to that. Other younger people go, you know what, I really want to do YouTube, and I don't want to go to university, but my parents tell me to go to university. And then you share your story within these podcast episodes, within individual videos, wherever you're sharing it. People relate to you so much more.
Yeah.
And you become a specialist, not a generalist.
Yeah.
And when you're a specialist at something, A, you grow a lot faster because you get a much more loyal audience.
Yeah.
So people relate to you and like to you a lot more.
Yeah.
B, when you want to run more events in the future, give talks, networking and all that stuff, people want to go to it because they actually like you and trust you and relate to you.
Sure.
I think that's one of the reasons, again, I keep using as an example, but Ali Abdaal's done so well.
Yeah.
Because he just documented his life from 9-to-5er
Yeah.
to multi-millionaire on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he documented the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so many people relate to that.
Yeah.
And then his product is like how to build a YouTube channel part-time, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it kind of speaks to where he was and him 5 years ago. And most of the time when you're creating any business, it's just like, who were you 3, 4, 5 years ago, and speak to that person. And if there's other people around there who relate to that position you're in, they'll want to follow you and like you. And it's not like charging them money. It's just like, you might go and do an event in London, let's say, where you want to get 100 young entrepreneurs together. If you share your story, that's your unique perspective, people will come. But if you just go, no, I've seen on YouTube people just talking about how to grow on YouTube in 2026, which is fine. Like, definitely do that. But if you don't have your unique perspective, you're then just another dude talking about YouTube, trying to grow it, and it's a lot harder to grow.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you, Oscar. I don't know what to say other than thank you.
But I'll try and embed that within your, like, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a guest on, and I'd really think about, like, this is who I am, this is my personal brand, this is, like, who are you? And like that's who you are.
Yeah, yeah. And even this right now is part of that, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And this again is what you learn it. So you do this again and again and again, one per week, 52 weeks, and you'll get to the point where it's just so natural and so easy. And it's funny because, like, I can sit here and be like, oh, I know Ali Abdal's whole story.
Yeah.
Why? Because he just says it in his videos.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time, exactly.
Yeah.
Or Hormozy. Oh, he's the gym guy who had like a gym launch thing, and then he's now the marketing expert. Or Iman Gatsi. Oh, he's the dude who was a high school dropout, built an SMA business, and now he's into like info marketing.
Yeah.
I know it because they talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's actually what makes people. That's why they're at the top, because people relate to them.
Yeah.
And people really like them. So if I was running your podcast, I'd be a bit more like, doing everything you're doing, all this is like how it kind of gets complex because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah, sure.
But it's all about, the tactics, getting the right people on. Yeah. But then it's also about sharing your own personal story.
Yeah.
And who you are and how you relate to different people, and just interweaving that into when you're interviewing people, and people will start relating to you. Yeah. And then it means the podcast isn't just reliant on having a really good guest on.
Yeah.
It means that people start liking you for you, so they'll come on regardless of who you have on it.
Yeah.
I think, again, Colin and Samir, if you look at them, like they made hundreds of videos before they actually had their big breakthrough. And you can literally scroll back on their channel, see it. And they talk about that a lot, and their struggles, their problems, this, and it means people like them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why they are where they are.
Yeah, right. It's authenticity, right? Mm-hmm. That's the word. It's trying to just be as you as you possibly can do. And I think we're in a society now, especially in the creator society, where you can be yourself, and you don't need to hide to be anyone else but yourself. And that's really fucking cool, if you ask me, that we can all just be ourselves on camera and off camera. And I love it. Thank you for your time today.
Not at all.
Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. For people who are watching this now, I met Oscar about 2 weeks ago before Christmas, and I just was like, on the spur of the moment, I would love to talk to you, and would love to pick your brains, and you've provided everyone with so much value, and so thank you for that. Where can people find you? How can people hear about you?
Well, if you want to learn some magic tricks, go to YouTube/@Oscar, and my channel's there. And then if you want to learn YouTube strategy, which is probably more relevant for this, search Oscar Own Business, and on YouTube, again, I've got a whole bunch of free tutorials just teaching everything I know about YouTube.
Nice. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it, mate.
Not at all.
Can we have a hug?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm more of a hugger than a handshake. Thank you. That was sick. That was so sick.